Pleasure to you too, mate.
What are you doing? We can all pull about a little bit. Try to pull about, have a little pull in the...
Okay, so we're at the George Groves Christopher Rebrasse. I've been told it's Rebrasse rather than Rebrasse. Is it Rebrasse or Rebrasse? Rebrasse.
Has one of them marks over the end, I think, whatever that means.
So we're at the weigh-in.
Flex or reflex or something?
Yeah? Okay.
An accent.
An accent. We're with Big Glenn Mccrory. You know what? You are the big guy. Obviously, this time, about 4 or 5 months ago, we're here for a different event, a different kind of turnout as well for the Carl Froch George Groves fight. Are you surprised that George Groves has come back this soon, this quick?
Not really, because George has been stopped and knocked out in the amateurs, and yet still went on to have a successful amateur career. He's one of those guys, he's got thick skin. He's one of those guys that, if something doesn't go his way, he bounces back. And I think that's, in boxing, you need that, because it's very demoralizing when you lose. When you lose the way he did in the last fight, great knockout from Carl Froch, that's hard. But George has got a very, very good attitude. That's just I got hit with a good punch. Next time I need to avoid it, and that's why he's bouncing back. And I think he is this class. He's definitely world championship level. He's definitely world class, I think, and I think he will win a world title. So it's good that he has bounced back straight into this level, and I think he'll win.
Was there never, do you think, that maybe the opportunity to take an 8-rounder or 10-rounder? You thought he's gone straight in at this level?
No, again, I think he knows what level he's at now. It was a chance taken on Carl Froch. If you'd asked me that, a year and a half ago, I'd have said no, George Groves is not ready for that. But he's the sort of guy that seized the opportunity, went for it, almost pulled off a fantastic upset in the first fight. The rematch he had to take, it was too good not to take, and he definitely had a chance. So he believes that he's at this level. He is at this level, and it's good for him to come straight back in with a fight of this caliber.
In terms of positive stuff, I mean, before the stoppage on both fights, many people had obviously George Groves ahead in the first fight, and even the second fight, a few people had him ahead as well. Do you think he takes positives from that he was ahead of Carl Froch, who most considered the second best super middleweight in the world on both fights?
I think he's bound to take. A lot of people will knock him and say, he doesn't deserve this opportunity. He's lost. He's been stopped in his last 2 fights. What he did do was he came very, very close in the first fight. Second fight for me, I think you give Carl Froch a bit too much respect. He was gung-ho in the first fight and it paid off. Second fight, he gave him too much respect. And if you go backwards from Carl Froch, if you let him on the front foot, he's going to beat anybody. He was even beating Andre Ward in the last few rounds when he started to push Ward back. So, that's the kind of fighter he is. But George will certainly get a lot of positives. He knows that he's world class. He's there or thereabouts. So he just needs the right opportunities. This is an excellent opportunity with Rebrasse. Good boxer, certainly a class fighter, but is not a big puncher, and I think that sort of looks in George's favour. I would be slightly worried if he's going straight in with a huge puncher in this fight, but he's not doing that. So I think it's a good fight at the right time, and he will bounce back in a great victory, I predict, for George Groves tomorrow.
There you go. And so in terms of predictions, do you think it's going to go points? Do you predict a George Groves stoppage?
Rebrasse has never been stopped. He's only lost closely in a couple of fights at reasonable level, but I think any man that can put Carl Froch down, iron chin Carl Froch the way he did, demands respect, and his punch power and his speed is something that you can't ignore, and I think that will tell in the end, and Rebrasse will be stopped to the first round.
I've got to ask you, now you hear about a friend, an ex-colleague of yours, Johnny Nelson. I thought it was a joke. It obviously isn't a joke. He's very serious about the Marco Huck fight.
No.
What do you think of that?
I had a few words with Johnny yesterday. Mainly, are you mad?
Yeah.
But I think it's a few years ago, I would have said this. I'd have been the same to Johnny, saying I'm probably challenging him. It's something that happens to all fighters. There's a stage where it's called old age. It's called getting older, and it happens to everybody. Time passes. Johnny was a champion once before, very, very good champion, and obviously believes he can do it again, but when you get back to that, you know, he retired for a reason because his body was not up to the task of constant sparring, constant movement, you know, the exercise that it takes to do this. So I think he deserves to have a go, but I think, you know, somewhere in that training schedule over the next 6 months, common sense will prevail, or his body will not be up there. This is a man that's had a hip replacement and a knee replacement. So I think, you know, I don't want to see him come back, if I'm honest. I don't want to see him come back. He's got a great record, he's got a great career. He's in an excellent job now, doing wonderfully well, and I don't want to see him spoil anything. But if he does come back and he is successful, I'm next.